lovely Simmers, SimsEclaire here, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing a fairy tale inspired cottage. So I know that this is very similar to a lot of the builds I've had on my channel recently, but this is just kind of what I've felt like building. I don't have a lot of time, and this is the type of build that I'm most comfortable with, you know, cozy, homey type style things. And I am trying to get back into like a regular schedule on my channel because right now I've been super lazy about it because of my other job, but I'm currently in between jobs while I search for an externship, so I am hoping to start at least doing 2 videos a week maybe. That is the goal, but we are starting with this one. So I was inspired by a picture I found on Pinterest, and of course I'm a dummy and I totally forgot to save the picture, so I don't have it to show you, but basically it was a house that was kind of inside of the mountainside, if that makes any sense. So it almost looked like it was like a part of the mountain, and we can't really do that in The Sims because the way that the mountains, obviously they have like the incline, and you can't put together 2 different like level houses together unless even like with the platform tool, because the foundation still has to be the same height. So I kind of made shifted as much as I possibly could with like drawing the mountain around the house that I already built. So it doesn't really look exactly like the picture anyway, so I think it's okay that you guys aren't going to get to see it. But the majority of this build is using the Country Cottage pack. Is that what it's called? Cottage Living pack, that's what it's called. And the spellcaster pack. What is the Realm of Magic pack? Wow, you can tell I haven't played in a while because I totally forgot the pack names. In fact, when I was doing this build, I had to call my sister to ask her what the cheats were because I couldn't remember my build cheats. That is how long it has been since I have sat down to actually build a house. And I had all these plans for October, like I was gonna do a whole series of like spooky houses, because last year I did the horror movie houses, and this year I was just gonna do like haunted houses, like ones that like look like old Victorian style homes and stuff. But obviously that didn't happen, and this was actually originally supposed to be one of those homes. And then when I saw the picture of the Fairytale cottage and I realized I wasn't gonna have time to do anything for October, I said, you know what, we're just gonna do this, and this is gonna turn out really well. And right now we're just picking out the like textures and like the patterns for the walls and the roof and stuff. It took me a little bit to figure out what I wanted to do with the roof because I kind of wanted to do like a green roof. I wanted there to be flowers and plants and grass and stuff growing on the roof because I thought it'd be kind of cool if the house was being overgrown by the nature around it, because obviously the person living here, I did imagine they would be a spellcaster or some form of a magical being, so I did think that they would be totally in tune with nature and probably, you know, maybe controlling the nature a little bit, trying to not, you know, be on anyone's radar, trying to be like under, you know, just like not really with the times, just trying to live on their own, like under the radar with their magic, with their nature and stuff like that. So that's what I was trying to go for, but I didn't like how any of the greens looked. They all just looked way too green. So I do end up placing some ivy and stuff up here eventually, but right now I'm just adding some finishing touches to the roof, trying to make them look less bare. I still wish we had the option to put color underneath the roof so they weren't just white, because when I take my screenshots it looks super weird having just these like white blank spaces underneath all the roofs, especially with a house that has like these warm dark brown tones on them. But that is an argument for the other day because we are getting a lot of stuff here in The Sims. So the last time I did a video, they weren't out yet, but we did just get 2 new kits. The Ichion Arrivals kits and the Fashion Street kit, and both of those are related to Create a Sim. I did a couple of shorts on my channel about each of those packs, so you can go ahead and check them out underneath my page. But we are getting a 3rd kit coming up soon. It's about flowers and home plants, and so you know I'm super excited about it. When that kit comes out, I'm probably going to build like a greenhouse or like a plant lover Sims like garden room or something like that, because I'm super excited to get new plants in the game. And then we also got a free update that included these new things called scenarios, I think is what they're called. Now I haven't personally played with them yet because I don't really play The Sims, and considering I haven't even had enough time to build for my channel, no, I haven't had any time to sit there and just play for myself. So it'll definitely be interesting. I'm intrigued to know what they are. If you guys have played with them, or if you have any like tips or tricks, let me know in the comments down below, so when I do get a chance to play with them, I can go ahead and not fail miserably. But as I understand them, it's basically like you click a scenario and then you create a sim, and then it places you like already partway through something, or like they have a storyline attached. Like I said, I haven't played with them, so I'm super excited to see what it is. But right now, in this build, we are trying kind of just doing like a lot of the finishing touches, a lot of the finessing. We're adding some roof trims and some windows and the chimney. I almost called that a fireplace for a second. And we are about to start with some landscaping, if I remember correctly. I don't show all of the landscaping though. I do cut out a little bit because my camera moves around quite a bit. But especially with like the different terrains and stuff, a lot of the plants were like floating above the ground, so I had to go ahead and, you know, zoom in real close and fix those. But I am going to be decorating around the pond right now, and this new pond tool is great, I'm not gonna lie. You still though have to make the edges look more natural by building things on them, and it's really hard when you are messing with the terrain as much as I am, because like I said, plants start to float and they don't look right, and they're not supposed to float above the water, so it kind of just, I don't know, it's a little weird. But now I'm adding in some debug objects from the country living pack, like this wheel here. I thought maybe that the person or the sim living here or sims living here could be collecting their own water and using it for, you know, their spells or, you know, their cooking or stuff like that. This house, while I'm mentioning the sims living here, the house does only sleep 2. There is 1 bedroom with a double bed. Now, in theory, no. I mean, you could put it in a basement. Maybe that could work. I don't know where you'd put the stairs, but if you wanted to have more than 2 sims living here, I think a basement would be the only way to go, because I did meddle with the terrain quite a bit, so it'd be kind of hard to just extend the house without flattening the lot and adding rooms that way. And then you saw for a second I started pulling out some other debug items. I wasn't quite sure initially how I wanted this house to go, if I really wanted to stick with the whole spellcaster thing, so I thought maybe about building a farm, but I've done a lot of those recently because the country or the cottage living pack is so new, so I decided to stick with the whole more magical theme and started pulling out some objects from Realm of Magic as well as Cottage Living. I also apologize if you just heard my phone go off. I could have sworn I put it on silent. I did not. I apologize so much. I usually never have it on loud, ever, even when I probably should. But today I guess I just decided to have it on loud, so my bad. But right now you can see we are adding all that foliage that I mentioned on top of the roof. And we are also using these base game trees to kind of make it look like vines crawling up onto the roof to kind of give it a little bit of flow, so there isn't just this weird green roof with no way that the grass got up there, because I feel like that would have been super weird. But also with what I'm doing with the roof, these are wall pieces. So these are pieces that are designed and fit and made to lay on a wall or on the ground. So as you can tell, they don't fit perfectly. They're not slanted. I do not have the tool mod, I think is what it's called. A lot of people have told me I should try and get it. It's not that I don't want to have it, I just, right now, since I don't have a lot of time to build, I feel like trying to add that in of me learning how to use it and trying to manipulate things would probably just throw me off more than what I should. So I am going to stick with this. I don't usually do things like this that often, but I also think that it worked. I mean, you can't really, there's no glitches or anything, and it kind of just looks like the house itself is growing plants, which in the case of this being a spellcaster, I mean, maybe it was a spell gone wrong. Maybe they cast a spell to help, you know, nature regrow, like save the universe, save the world or whatever, and then now their house is just sprouting green plants randomly. That could be a cool storyline. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. And then I'm just adding a couple more green patches. I wanted to cover up any bare space because, like I said, this house isn't that big and I don't like a lot of bare space, so I decided to just add as much greenery as possible and, you know, just some more vines and stuff around. So I added some flower boxes, and then we should be moving on to the inside rather quickly because, as you can tell, I am running out of things to talk about here on the outside. Because I do not remember the outside being this long. Oh yes, there we go. Okay, so now we're on the inside, and like I said, this is a bedroom. It's a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and then kind of an open floor plan, kitchen, living, and dining room. And right now we're decorating just by the front door. I'm using this table from Movie Hangout, a plant that I believe came with the industrial kit, and then some Realm of Magic stuff, and then some other cottage living stuff as well. I keep wanting to call it country living, and I don't know why, because that's not what it's called. But we do have the country kitchen kit, so maybe that's why. Like, maybe my brain is just like, this is what it's supposed to be. But now I'm adding just some finishing touches for by the front door area, a couple of pictures and stuff. And it always takes me really long to figure out how I want to decorate walls, especially when I have wallpaper that's already decorative, because I feel like you don't really need that much if the wallpaper is super fancy, but then the pictures look really bare, and it's just this constant debate I have in my head. But over here is the dining room. So I did put 4 chairs because I figured maybe they had a lot of friends. I did build this house in Glimmerbrook, so there's a lot of spellcasters running around, so I figured maybe they had some spellcaster friends, they came over, you know, they hung out, maybe they did some spells together, worked on some things together. And then over here is the very, very tiny living room. I did put a fireplace in here, probably a bad idea. I will make sure that this whole house is functional before I upload it onto the gallery, because I am a little nervous that the fireplace might be too close. And not even just in terms of like lighting the fireplace, but in setting things on fire. I have noticed that if you place like objects too close to the fireplace, even if it says that it's okay, it's a lot easier for said objects to catch on fire. So I am going to be playtesting that. And just making sure everything works. I do have a couple of tables and chairs around here, obviously, well, tables and chairs, couches and chairs, just to give them a little bit more space to sit and work on their spells, because they don't have a separate room for that, which usually I like to do when there's spellcasters. I like to give them a cauldron and a space with their library and where they can hang their wands and stuff, but this house just didn't have enough space for it, so I did want to give them a nice little sitting area where they could practice their spells, they could read up on their magic, maybe practice some potions, although I do also give them a nice little table in the kitchen that isn't technically functional, but it looks as though that's where they do a lot of their potion making and stuff like that. Speaking of the kitchen, we are moving in there. I'm using the stuff from the Cottage living pack. I thought about using the country kitchen instead, but I don't really like, I like the colors that came with the country kitchen pack, but not for this house. I thought this house needed a couple, some deeper tones to it. So I decided on the Cottage living. Wow, that's gonna be so annoying. But I'm over here and I'm just gonna start like cluttering up the counters, because I love to do that. And I do a lot of basic items here. I use this book from Vampire pack and I kind of place it inside the counter so it looks like it's just a book on a book stand. I figured maybe that was their spell book or their potions book, and they just have it sitting next to the stove for when they need to do their work. I also add in a knife block and I believe, yeah, a utensil holder. I figured they probably still do some regular cooking in this kitchen. It can't all be magic all the time. And then I put this rug here, and I was initially going to leave it at that, but then I thought there was just all this empty space, so I did decide to add in this little table. It is an end table from Cats and Dogs. I place a chair here that, again, is not functional, but it looks as though, maybe the spellcaster is sitting here and working on some of their potions. I place a scale here from the Realm of Magic pack, and I also place some... I placed something. Oh, I think I placed one of the books from the Realm of Magic pack as well. I think they're called tomes. They basically just are like spell books that your Sims can read to gain more knowledge about being a spellcaster. And I placed a couple of like random things down as well, this grocery receipt to make it maybe look like they were taking notes on something. And then I also hung those plants on the wall, so that way it looked as though they were drying out some herbs and stuff. But now we are into the bedroom. Now this is a Cats and Dogs bed. I don't like the bed that came with Realm of Magic, and I didn't think the bed that came with Country Living fit this house, so I decided to go with this bed. And then I'm using the same lights that I used in the living room just to add a bit of cohesiveness. And I'm decorating the end tables, nothing too fancy. I do end up changing that plant though, because I really liked this giant stack of books, because I thought maybe one of these Sims was even like a spellcaster teacher. So I wanted to have the large stack of books, but then the plant looked so wrong next to the large stack of books, so I do change the plant. And then I put that thing from the paranormal stuff pack. It's like a portrait, like a shadow portrait. I put that next to the bed as well. I thought maybe it was like a portrait of one of those loves or something. I don't know. That part of the storyline I didn't quite get to. But over here I am going to be placing this new artwork from Country Living, because it fills up the wall pretty nicely and it matches the theme of the house. And then I'm just decorating this little corner over here with the dresser. I don't end up putting a mirror in this house at all, which I didn't realize until I'm speaking right now, because I don't end up fitting one in the bathroom either. So I will go back and put a mirror, not because you need one, because since the dresser's here, technically it isn't necessary, but I do like having a mirror around in case, you know, your sim needs to psych themselves up or your sim is having like a bad day or whatever. And then in here is the bathroom. It's very small. I just get a clawfoot tub, a sink, and a toilet, and then a couple of random decorations. And then I do end up decorating the front porch a little bit, but again, nothing too fancy. So besides that, that is it for this build. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye!